Teacher Talk: Introducing Complex Syntax Through Vocabulary. In this video, we will discuss the importance of language input in a child's language development, the use of verb bias for introducing complex syntax, and how teachers can promote syntactic development in their classrooms. Studies show us that language input plays a significant role in a child's language development. Different interaction styles and types of feedback from parents have been shown to make a difference in a child's language. In school, we know that teachers are an important source of language input. One study revealed that teachers' language use predicts preschoolers' language development independent from parental contributions. So, from this information, we can gather that what children hear not only at home, but at school can shape their linguistic abilities. This includes their syntactic development, an important part of a child's language production. Studies have found that adult language use predicts children's acquisition of syntax, and that proficiency of complex syntax at kindergarten predicts later academic achievement. But research has found that teachers tend to use simple syntax and simple commands in preschool classes. Therefore, one approach we can take to improve a child's syntactic development is to increase the teacher's use of complex syntax in the classroom. So what is complex syntax? Complex syntax consists of sentences that contain two or more clauses, with one clause serving as the main clause and one or more clauses serving as the subordinate clause. This is in contrast to simple syntax, which is when an utterance has only one clause and no subordinate clauses. Studies have found that the verbs we use influence what kind of syntax we produce, either complex or simple. Some verbs are inherently more likely to procure more complex syntactic structures than others. This is what we call verb bias, the frequency with which a verb appears in a particular syntactic frame. For example, verbs of cognition, perception, communication, and desire commonly occur with complement clauses. We call these cognitive verbs. These verbs are frequently found in complex syntactic forms. These are verbs like think, see, and hope. Other verbs are more likely to occur in simple sentences, such as action verbs. These are verbs that reflect physical actions. For example, identify, measure, and write. Let's consider a couple examples. In this first sentence, we have the verb identified, which is an action verb. We find that it is often found in simple syntactic frames such as this one, which contains a single clause. In the sentence, you tried to take the triangle, we have a cognitive verb, try, with a complement clause, giving us a complex syntactic form. This is reflective of the fact that cognitive verb sentences more often occur in complex syntactic forms, and action verbs more often occur in simple syntactic forms. Therefore, by using one type of verb over another, we can naturally create more complex or more simple syntax in our language production. So, how can we use this information to help improve children's syntactic development? Well, a study by Horne showed that the types of verbs preschool teachers used in their vocabulary in the classroom influenced the complexity of the syntax in the teacher's language. In this study, one group of teachers used cognitive verbs in their vocabulary lessons with their students, and one group of teachers used action verbs. They found that the teachers who targeted cognitive verbs tended to use more complex syntax than those teaching action verbs. Therefore, the children in the cognitive verb group received richer syntactic input. This type of intervention is what would be considered a cascading intervention, which is where it is focused on the caregiver, with the hopes that a change in their behavior will flow or cascade down to the child and change the child's behavior. Previous research has revealed how most teachers find it difficult to adopt and maintain language-enhancing strategies for their students. They find it easier to maintain changes in curriculum choice than in changing their interaction style. The strategy used in this study, however, helped to solve that challenge. Verb bias takes advantage of a natural pattern in language. Just by focusing on using specific verbs, teachers can naturally change the complexity of their syntax. This study also required minimal instruction for the teachers, who were able to adopt the strategy into their curriculum by incorporating it in the vocabulary lessons. It proved to be a non-intrusive way to increase the frequency of complex syntactic forms in the child's language input. The teachers in the study reported more success when using cognitive verbs that are more common. Higher frequency verbs led to more use throughout the day and therefore more input of complex syntactic forms. Therefore, this study showed how a vocabulary curriculum targeting cognitive verbs influences the teacher's use of syntax in the classroom. Just by changing the types of verbs they used, they were providing their students with exposure to more complex syntactic structures.